Welcome to the Engine Oil Analysis channel. Today we're going to look at how we use the EchoTechOilCheck, a device that was formerly called the LubriCheck and Professional Lab analysis to look at two vehicles, a Corolla and a Camry, and also a Honda. But the professional lab tests were done on the Corolla and the Camry. But we've used it to corroborate the results of the LubriCheck or EchoTechOilCheck device. This video is going to show that you can use oil for probably 2 to 5 or more years. One of my videos, the oil I used in the generator was a 7-year-old oil. I'd already had it for 7 years before I put it into the engine, and it worked for another 13 months. Actually, it worked for 21 months before it went bad. And I'll show you snippets of videos of me using the device, and also show you the results that corroborate what we've tested using this device on the Camry, the Corolla, and the Honda. So I'm going to start by showing you some of the videos, playlists that have kind of documented oil analysis and tests on the Corolla. So this is a Corolla. I think I changed the oil after 3 years. This is the first playlist. This is the second playlist. You can see after 30 months I took a sample out, and I think in 6 months later I changed the oil. There are videos that show that. The samples were taken to a lab. So for over here, I think I took my sample here after 26 months, yes. And then at 30 months the oil was changed. So that's the history for the Corolla. This is the history for the Honda. Here's a test of the Honda after 37 months. I think it was still a 4 or 5 in the engine. And it's currently in the engine now. Today, the 21st of March 2024. It's been there. I think the oil was last changed in April 2019. So it'll be in another month. It would have been in the engine for 5 years. This is an article where that talks about motor oil age doesn't matter as much as mileage, which I'm a strong believer. Mileage also takes into account the miles you do, but most importantly the hours. I think the more hours you spend in traffic during one oil cycle, the more wear on the oil. And here they show how they tested a bottle that's been on the shelf for 14 years. It's tested at Blackstone Laboratories, who happen to be the same company that I did the test for the Corolla and the Camry. I'll show you results on that. Here's the playlist for the Camry, showing me that after 24 months I had to change the oil. Did also roughly the same mileage as the Corolla, 4,297, but a lot more hours in traffic. And this is why I say your hours in traffic really deteriorate the quality of your oil. I'm sure this is almost, if you add the hours and the miles together, there'll be a rough formula. I'm sure I've done over 10,000 miles with this oil when you take into account the traffic hours. I'd heard of cars doing 20, 30, 40,000 on one oil cycle, and I know trucks do it in different parts of the states. And this is an article of a guy who does 500 miles a day on average. He changes his oil every 30 to 40,000 miles, and he uses the LubriCheck, which is called the EchoTechOilCheck, to do these oil test samples at different intervals before he sends the final oil sample for oil analysis. I'm not sure if he uses Blackstone, I can't remember, but a very interesting video to watch. it shows you that these oils that claim to do 20 or more thousand miles can actually do that in engines. And he's using the LubriCheck as a checking device to know when to send the sample off to the lab. And again, the labs corroborate what the LubriCheck results give. An interesting video to watch as well. Here is a video of taking oil out of the engine of the Corolla, and here's a write-up on when the oil was changed. I think the oil was changed here at a number 7, but the oil had done almost 3 years in the Corolla engine. It was changed at roughly 5,590 kilometers or 8,590 kilometers or 5,335 miles. It done about 1,800 hours in stationary traffic. Let me see if I can find the video of the Camry. So here's a Camry after 22 months. I think the oil results were, they were number 7, but when the oil was finally changed, it was at 24 months, and it was result was a number 8, as you can see here, over here. 24 months. The oil had been in there. So the oil that was used in both engines, and both engines oil was changed on the same day. The oil is the Motul 8100 Ecolite 5W30, 100% synthetic. Two key things that I looked at on to tell you if oil is still good using professional lab analysis are the TBN. Take note, this TBN for this oil is 8.5. TBN is a total base number, which gives you an idea of how much of the additives that are used to counter the effects of acid buildup in the engine. And viscosity, this lets you know how fluid the oil is and how well it maintains the prevention of metal to metal contact, as in the film that's built after the oil is pumped around the engine. If you notice, this one is 11.4. And I'm going to show you the results. So the first one is the results of the Camry that had only done 2 years of oil, 4,297 miles. The centistoke viscosity at 100 centigrade was 10.2, still within the acceptable values, which are between 9.1 and 11.3. And the TBN is a 2.2, and in this case it only needs to be, for it to be considered still good, it had to be above 1. If you look at the write-up, talks about there being a high level of iron, and by that we should resample. You could keep running with the oil, even though the LubriCheck said it was a number 8. It's saying I could still do another 4,000 miles and then do a test after that. So the oil was still good. The lab results here also concur with the EchoTech or LubriCheck device that the oil is still good. Same thing for the Corolla. The oil had been there almost 3 years, but had done similar number of mileage, 4,414. Again, the viscosity was still very good. It was a 10.25, 9.1 to 11, where the value should be 9.1 to 11.3. TBN again here was a bit higher. Same oil, remember? It's a 3.2, still greater than 1. And yeah, so what we have here is, in this case, when you look at the write-up, it talks about there being a high level of 4 times the amount as high of iron in the engine. And one of the reasons this, I would say, caused this was that the engine kept on running for within that 3-year period. I think after the second year, it started running on 3 cylinders. I wasn't fully aware of how bad it was because I wasn't driving the vehicle. but for almost a year plus during this oil interval, the engine would run on 3 cylinders, especially in traffic. If it turned out that there was a problem with the coil on plug, which was changed after this oil sample was taken, which might explain why there's a high level of iron. But again, both engines had been used in a lot of traffic. The Camry had done over 3,640 hours of traffic hours. The Camry. The Corolla had done 1,800 hours in traffic. So yeah, when we look at our results on the lab, you can see the lab results corroborate the results that we get with the EchoTech and all EchoTech or LibriCheck device that we use for testing. That's it, and thank you for watching.